So what does it mean, start saying yes to your dog without any strings attached? Well, it's pretty simple, and it just means just start rewarding your dog for all the behaviours that you want to see, for those behaviours that you find desirable. And rewarding your dog can be anything from giving them a treat, a pet, a praise, just a verbal praise, even just a, oh, good boy or good girl, without expecting anything in return. And when I say without expecting anything in return, I mean not having to give them a tablet or give them a bath or have to do something with them that they may not want to do, that they may not find rewarding. And this is really important because let's think of all of the behaviour that you would like your dog to perform. So the most important behaviour would be to be calm in everyday situations. And a perfect example of that is Marco enjoying his food puzzle toys while I'm doing this video. If Marco was bored and getting frustrated, then he might bark or he might become restless. So for me, rewarding him, I'm saying yes to him by giving him some lovely rewards in the form of some food puzzle toys to keep him occupied and mentally stimulated while I'm doing this video. So he'll understand that when he sees me getting things ready to do another video, he'll associate that with fun time for him in the form of doing some nice food puzzle toys and other little items that he has there. Now, there's no strings attached. I don't need anything from Marco. I don't want anything from him. I just want him to be able to be nice and calm in an environment, which is a desirable behaviour for me when I'm actually having to set aside time to do the videos for the YouTube channel. So that's a pretty common behaviour that we'd all like our dogs to perform, being calm, but also settling on their mats, which is also another form of being calm as well, but it's a specified area for your dog, which is also very helpful because they associate their mat with being calm and being settled. And you can take their mat with you, and then when you go out to other places, when they're used to being calm on their mat at home, and you can actually translate that calm behaviour on their mat in different situations out in public. If your dog is already socialised to public areas and feels comfortable in public areas. What about rewarding your dog for just standing quietly or just looking at you, paying attention to you? Also, maybe they might be sitting down on their mat chewing on a chew toy. You could walk past and say, good boy or good girl. Of course, you don't need to interact with them because they've already got something that's rewarding them from their point of view. But what about when your dog's just sitting down? They might be sitting at the front door. They might be sitting at the back door. They're not barking. They're just sitting. What a perfect time to reward your dog and say yes to your dog. That's a fantastic behaviour. No strings attached. Here's a reward for doing that beautiful behaviour. What about when your dog may actually come to you voluntarily? That's a perfect time to just reach down and pet your dog under the chest or say, good boy, thank you, thanks for coming over. You can actually then ask them for other behaviours. You might start working on asking for a sit, or you might start asking them for a drop, or you might just ask them to start just to look at you, pay attention. And that might be the end of the behaviour, and then you can reward your dog and then move on to something else. And you can see how if your dog's coming to you voluntarily because it's going to be a pleasant experience for them because they're going to have a reward or have some pleasant interaction with you, then you can see how we can build upon those basic real-world opportunities and start shaping them into other things like coming when you call them. So if you're thinking that your dog doesn't listen to you, then a good thing to do is to start thinking about the consequences that you're creating for your dog in those situations. Is your dog appearing not to listen to you because it's not pleasant, it's not predictable, It's not rewarding when they come close to you. Are you calling your dog in a stern voice without even realising it? Are you angry when you call your dog? So you probably need to ask yourself, well, is it a valid reason for your dog not to approach you when you're demonstrating body language to your dog that could be seen as threatening, could be seen as intimidating from your dog's point of view? And maybe that might actually translate to the way you interact with people as well. But let's not talk about that. Let's actually just talk about how we should be interacting with our dogs when we actually want them to be predictable in their responses to us, when we'd like them to respond the way, when we'd like them to respond in a particular way, coming when called, sitting quietly, settling on their mat. So if we think about what the end result is for our dog, or the consequence of listening to you in a situation, we also have to look at that situation and say, okay, is it pleasant for your dog? Is it predictable for your dog? Is it going to have the same outcome all the time? Is that then going to build trust in you from your dog's point of view? So your dog is actually going to start listening to you when they understand that the consequences of doing so, of listening to you, whether that be coming when called, or sitting, or settling on their mat, they're going to understand that the consequences are going to be pleasant, predictable, rewarding, and that is going to increase the likelihood of your dog performing those desirable behaviours again in those situations. And that also helps you to set not just a framework and a set of guidelines down for your dog that will help them to clearly understand how it is you'd like them to behave in everyday situations. But what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to build upon those guidelines and expand on those in different situations and in new environments, because in everyday situations around the home, in your normal lifestyle, you're using real-world opportunities to reward your dog for all of those desirable behaviours that you want to see. And when you start saying yes to your dog with no strings attached, then you don't have to keep saying no.